Good morning and welcome to Veterans Heartbeat on the Pulse of the Veteran, where we discuss issues of health, happiness, opportunity, and well-being of interest to the veteran community, their families, and the community who honors them.
Welcome to another episode of Veterans Heartbeat, brought to you by River, the Rural Institute for Veterans Education and Research. My name is Jason Zencraft. My co-host Ed Lasofsky is here with me, and he is the Executive Director of River. Good morning, Ed. How are you doing?
Morning, Jason. How you doing this morning?
I'm doing good, thank you. We'd also like to thank our other sponsor, The Man Shop. It's a great place for a guy to get a haircut, so if you do need a haircut, swing on by and check them out. The gals there do a great job. As said before, we are also sponsored by River, who offer many services to veterans, such as a weekly free vestibular disorder testing and educational programs that focus on veterans helping veterans. So what we're going to focus on today is River, and more specifically the students of River. You've heard what we are, what we do. Yes, we have an educational program, but we're going to have you hear from the horse's mouth itself, if you will, instead of ourselves. It's always nice to hear from the CEO, the guys who started, but this is going to be more about the students, and we also have a teacher in the room today. So we're going to go ahead and pass it down the line. Do you want to say anything, Ed?
Well, it's kind of a special honor to see these veterans helping their fellow brethren and sisters and their families. And these guys have worked really hard. First one I want to introduce you to is Justin Blevins. He's been with the program the longest. Justin, you want to step up and give a little bit of talk about what you and River?
I first found the program when I was living in Sydney. I heard about a veterans clinic, went in, got checked out, ended up actually liking the program. I've had nothing but good experiences. It's just a positive outlet for a lot of my issues. I guess that's all I got to say about it.
How's the educational experience been? Have you learned quite a bit?
I have learned quite a bit through the educational experience. Probably better so than I would in a conventional classroom. I can't complain.
The next one we're going to introduce you to is Rob Elder. Rob's been with the program probably the second longest.
Hi, Ed. Hi, Jason.
Morning, Rob. How you doing?
Doing okay.
You want to talk a little bit about River, what you do like about the program, how it's different from either what you expected or what you expected from an education. A lot of guys think, it's going to be like a university or college, where it's so structured and it's not individualized. It's just, hey, this is what you have to do, and you have to do this. If you don't, then you're expelled, where ours is focused more on veterans. You want to talk a little bit about that?
So, yeah, it's not structured as like a normal, typical student, how most universities and colleges, even though they talk about how they gear towards veterans. This program actually is more understanding on how veterans learn, especially with the difficulties that they could possibly have.
Thank you very much, Rob. Next one would be Caleb Reed. Caleb's a sergeant, or was a sergeant, in the Montana Army National Guard. Now, many of you folks out there have heard me talk about the suicide issues within the Guard. Caleb joined our program out of Sydney and moved over to Missoula. So Caleb, you want to give us a little bit of background and where you're at with it?
Oh, yeah. When I first joined up with River and everything, I was in a really confused spot in my life. I spent a lot of time down over in Sydney, jumping job to job. I didn't really know what to do. I didn't have a lot going for me. And then after you guys came in, and I do believe I had one or two meetings with you guys down there and in Sydney. And, I came up here to figure out what it was all about, and everything I've learned and everything I've discovered from it so far is just, it's been great help. It's helping me get more relaxed around other people and stuff, and being able to associate and talk more, especially with people like I wasn't able to do a lot.
Our instructor in the room is Jesse Nelson. Jesse worked for the VA, was actually taking my blood when I was talking to him about the program, so he's the vampire of the group.
Well, not anymore. River is an interesting organization from my perspective, as when I got out, I used my GI Bill at a regular college, university, and you're in there and you just got out of deployments, you just got out of the military, and you're in these classrooms with 18-year-olds who don't really understand much more than what their high school take on life is. And it's tough to sit in the back of these classes and deal with what you know and what you've seen in that environment. And what strikes me as one of River's strongest points is the fact that they can reach out to veterans who would not even go anywhere near a situation like that to get an education, because they've got plenty of reasons not to. It's not easy to sit there and deal with the things that you deal with in a busy college room after you've been, deployed 2, 3, 4, however many times. So River's unique approach, being able to get these guys who might just be on their own due to the fact that they don't want to deal with social constraints, and show them that there's a lot that they can do to help themselves, the society they live in, as well as their fellow veterans. And it's a good agency. I'm glad to be part of it.
Well, thank you. So, Caleb, we've got an event coming up on the 24th of June. You want to explain it?
Yeah, coming up here, we got a nice fall tournament, the Frisbee Golf here in Missoula, coming out at the Lake Sealy area for River. We have 9 nets posted up around the area, and going to go out, have want to get a bunch of veterans together, their families, and throw a bunch of disc around.
If you get a hold of the River office, we can give you directions and get you more information on that, and we'll be posting stuff on the Facebook page. Another event that I know that we have coming up will be with the paintball guns. We're going to have a tournament in July sometime. We haven't set the date. Justin, you want to talk a little bit about the paintball guns?
Coming up in July, we're going to have a paintball tournament. We just got a bunch of paintball guns in at River. We're going to set up a bunch of events, capture the flag, basically have a good time. We'll keep you posted on a date, and I guess stay tuned.
Yeah, be sure to check in with River. Check us out on the web at riverofchange.org, or just find us on Facebook. Look up River or the Rural Institute for Veterans Education and Research. Shoot us a message or an email, and we'll let you know as it comes closer. We're really focusing on this fall tournament. Again, Frisbee golf, like Caleb was saying, and we really do want you to bring your families. That's one thing that gets left out a lot. There's a lot of services, nonprofits out there for veterans, but then the families are left at home. The kids don't get to hang out with the father while they're, or the mother while they're doing this awesome event. But we really want to bring the significant others and the kids, if they have them, to these events. It really helps strengthen the family.
One comment I've got for the listeners out there is when we started working with these students that you're listening to today, this would not have been possible, them coming on the radio and talking to other vets like this. It is possible for you guys to come out and have a good time and figure life out after deployment. Jesse, you got some comments you want to make?
I was just curious about the fall tournament. Tournament seems like there should be a winner. Are there prizes?
Yeah, absolutely, Jesse. There will be $600 worth of prizes for the top 3 teams. We're going to do 3-man teams, so if an organization wants to come out and put 3 guys in there, or if you know 2 other veterans who want to be on the team, let us know, and we'll start compiling teams together. And, first, second, third, let's do it.
I want to dive a little bit deeper into the classroom experience these guys are getting, some of the coursework. Currently, we are a American Council of Exercise continuing education site, right along with the University of Montana. So there are 2 sites in Missoula that have this kind of programming. Now, this is more your background, Jason. Can you tell us about the health coach that the students are currently learning?
So basically what Health Coach is, it's a national certification through the American Council on Exercise. It's nationwide. It's largely recognized. It's one of the top ones. And what Health Coach is, it's essentially like an advanced personal trainer with more emphasis on nutrition and behavior change. You ask anybody who's 600 pounds, hey, how do you lose weight? Well, you diet and exercise. They have the knowledge. It's not, health education. It's actually, putting that, implementing that into a behavior change program. So that's what it really focuses on.
One of the things that veterans need to make sure of is they have proper nutrition and exercise, because as we learned from both Dr. Billings and Dr. Gordon in the last 2 episodes, those are 2 key ingredients to reintegration, is proper nutrition and proper exercise.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you just feel better when you start eating right, when you start exercising. That actually starts to mitigate a lot of the issues that anyone faces, especially veterans.
As we've gone through a lot of the educational experience, we've had acupuncture, we've had training in whitewater rafting, we've had training in skiing, a lot of different programs. One of my favorite stories was Dr. Frank Yersick, who is the chief of acupuncture at Cook County Hospitals in Chicago, taught a course on acupuncture and acupressure within the ear. And when there was a incident with a veteran completing suicide over in Miles City, there was not a counselor available. And one of the students was in the guard and started pulling out the ear seeds and stuff and applying them. And it was really interesting to listen to the reaction of everybody around him. Was like, this is voodoo. I know that Rob and Justin have both experienced positive results from acupuncture. You guys mind come up and talk a little bit about that?
I was one of the guys that thought, it was definitely one of those things that everybody said worked. It was a mental game. It was like the placebo effect. But from myself doing it, and then even my wife going through the same classes we were and learning how to do it, and being able to have her getting the same effects that I was getting was actually very interesting. The best thing, though, I did like seeing was the veterans, the student veterans that were going through all this, watching them go and take care of each other with the reflexology.
Another thing that I really found interesting on that weekend, Jason is pushing well over 200 pounds, and Dr. Yersick is pushing about 80 years old. And one of the techniques that he was teaching was putting somebody on their back and doing some what they call tuina. And he was lifting Jason and the heavier students. We had one student that was like 300 pounds plus and throwing him right on his back. 80-year-old man throwing a 300-pound guy right on his back. No problems. That was one of my favorite experiences. Can you guys give some of your favorite experiences that you've had?
When I first met Ed and Frank, I wasn't able to stand up all the way. My back was so messed up. They did some acupuncture, and lo and behold, I left able to stand up. Pain was significantly minimalized. It was a good experience. I would recommend it.
What about experiences within the program? What are some of the fun experiences that you've had? Is it whitewater rafting? Is it
whitewater rafting was definitely a blast. Honestly, the best thing I can say is being with other veterans. That is by far the best experience of this program.
You got to ride the bull down the Alberton Gorge, didn't you?
I did. Yes, I did. I also fell off because I was pushed. Yes, I was.
So it's typical veteran mentality out there. Caleb, what are some of the fun experiences that you've had so far?
Yeah, well, I mean, we get a lot of fun experiences around here. I mean, they got that entire locker room downstairs full of stuff I'd be able to rent out. I've already taken the liberty of it twice, just within the week that I was here that it opened, and I already took out the paddle boards and paintball guns and stuff like that, and went and had a few good times around. A lot of fun, whole lot of fun, especially with the paintball guns and everything. Can't wait to get out and do that again. paddle boards, always a fun thing to get out on the water with. And it was my first time even doing it. I've never been on one of those before, and yeah, I had a blast out there going on those. So I definitely suggest for people, get in the program, come in, check out what we got, look around. I mean, there's so much stuff, there's so much to do, and there's so many activities. You really can't go wrong.
One issue that River was founded on was the veteran suicide problems, and I know that everyone in this room has experienced somebody with a lot of issues, whether or not they've completed suicide or not. Can you guys talk a little bit about how this has been able to help you with your fellow brethren and sisters? Anybody want to step up?
One thing it's definitely taught me some healthier coping mechanisms than drinking myself into oblivion or just basically making bad choices for myself.
I think that being around other vets kind of puts you back in that position of being in a team. And like Justin was saying, you don't make those bad decisions because it's going to affect the whole team, not just you. And that perspective, to have that reinstalled, is substantial and a good thing.
One of the issues that we have is veterans that are not real close to be able to take a lot of the classes, and one of the ways that we solved that was a major investment into a telecommunication system that allows for closed-circuit telecast of all of our classes. So you're able to see the instructor live right there, and you don't have to be in the same room. It's allowed under the VA's rules for programming. So I'm wondering, Rob, you're the one that's the furthest away. How has that helped you?
Oh, the thing that's helped the most is it's actually made me, even though I'm so far away, I still feel like I'm a part of the classroom with the guys that are inside the classroom. So I'm not feeling like I'm just far away and nobody cares or whatever, how I'm learning. It's actually, helped out a lot. And then with the teaching aspect of it is I'm reading this book and we're covering stuff at the same time and going off with a lot of stuff of the book that and the instructors are making sure and able to show the information to me a little bit easier instead of just responding to me if I have a question by an email. I can actually interact with that instructor. So that has definitely been a great aspect to the educational side.
Caleb, you've experienced it, so why don't you explain how it's helped you?
Yeah, that thing's helped me out a lot. There was a time where I had to take a trip down to Sydney back to go see some family for a little while. Got stuck down there, and lo and behold, I'm still able to go to class. I'm still able to go and do everything I needed to do, all my tests, all my quizzes and everything. I could still get online, check how everyone's doing, still keep contact with the teachers and everything via the email right on the website and everything. I mean, it was all right there, easy to go. I have also come into class, too, so I know that the instructing in class is still just as good and just the same as when you're online. I mean, it's all really helpful, and they're very open and sociable about whatever you need help on.
Well, it's kind of humbling, in my experience, to hear from the students and allowing you to hear from the students. The veterans out there, they need our help. And it's not just help that they need a hand up. They've gone through a lot, and I damn sure appreciate every last one of them, because without them, we wouldn't have the freedom we do. Jason?
Couldn't agree more. I'm just happy to be a part of it. I'm not a veteran myself, but I lost a lot of close friends who were veterans, by their own hands. And everybody's had, those thoughts, climb into their head at one point, even if they, they go away right away, or if they stay for a long period of time. Everybody can kind of relate to that negativity, that depression, that whatever it may be, whatever you want to call it. The most important thing is to have a support network and have somebody there for you when you're going through hell. Keep going. It's always good to have somebody to go through you when you're at your hardest times. When there's no one there, that is when those hard times really start to buckle you. So that's why we try to embody that with River and have this team mentality. Have battle buddies and everything else to try and be there for you when nobody else is.
Well, and I want to say, if any of the vets are out there, our students are learning, and they're willing to step up, and I'm sure every last one of them would step up and help somebody. It's been an interesting half hour this morning, and I sure appreciate the listeners.
Absolutely, and thank you guys for coming in, talking about your experience with River. We know it's not easy to just jump on the radio and say, "Oh, I'm just going to talk to a bunch of people." So we appreciate that. Thank you for coming in. Well, thank you very much for listening to Veterans Heartbeat. We'd not be able to bring it to you without all the support of the listeners. Thank you again to the Man Shop for sponsoring the show. If you are in need of a great haircut, swing on by and get a snip. Also, thank you to our main sponsor, River. They have an array of services such as veterans-focused education, a free vestibular disorder clinic, and many more services. Check them out on Facebook or on the web at riverofchange.org. Lastly, we'd like to show our appreciation to all of our veterans. Thank you for serving our country and keeping it safe.